Hi, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I need to touch up my makeup. I have lost the light. It is sunset. It's that weird gray twilight time, like in between. It's dusk. It is true dusk. It's after the sun has sunk below the horizon and everything turns blue-gray. You know what I mean? That kind of, it's like a veiling, a cloaking, cloaking mechanism. Anyways, I need to fix up my face. Number one. Hi, how are you guys doing? What are you doing? How are you doing? Are you doing well? I hope you're doing well. So yes, I have lost the lighting, and so the lighting's gonna suck. But we're just gonna go with it, aren't we? So also, like, okay, how are you? How are you? God is good, and all the time, God is good. I'm just kidding. Fucking preacher. God damn. I'm just kidding. No, but how are you? How are you doing? Number two. Why am I always counting? Bitch, this is not Sesame Street. I've been slightly depressed today. There's a slight depression, and I cannot remember if I took my medication or not. So, because of that, now I'm at odds with myself, and I've been at odds with myself for a couple of days, which means I need to integrate. I keep catching myself saying things, such as, I want to fight God, I want to fight myself, I want to fight my former self, I want to get into the fucking octagon with myself and just like fucking knock her ass out. But I can't do that because that's not okay. So I've noticed within my own life, I've been at odds with myself and with my own creativity. Now we're on the backside of the full moon, as my mother used to say, the backside of a full moon, and so the energy is going to start going back down from the peak to the drop. So I need to honor my own lunar cycles as well as my own, because I have a uterus. So I need to honor those cycles within myself. I don't know how it is for men or people with male reproductive parts. I don't understand you. I understand me. And I think that there is a divinity within femininity where we want to fight ourselves and rip our skin off and just destroy the entire planet in the fucking blink of an eye. Whenever our clothes don't fit correctly. Just me? Anybody else out there who has a uterus, do you feel me? Even if you don't have a uterus, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you ever get to those points? And yeah, there's some sacredness in it or whatever, in the aggravation, of course there is. There's sacredness in everything. Within your eyelashes and your fingernails and a blade of grass and a dove's wing. But is it not fucking annoying? I think it is. And so now I have to go investigate. There comes a time with myself. Let me investigate while I pull out my makeup and do my face. There comes a time in my own personal cycle, my 28 days, where I just want to, like I said, like rip my skin off, throw it on another human, surprise them, shock them, and then full charge them and knock them out like Bobby Boucher. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you ever get frustrated like that? It could be because my moon is in the sign Leo. It could be that. It could be my Leo moon. It could be Leo moon core. I don't know, but I feel unreal. No, there's a burning sense. We're not even gonna fucking worry about it, bitch. Your hair is fucked up. Your makeup is fucked up. Today is just a fucked up day. Honor the fucked upness. Embrace it. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to integrate myself a little bit with my own self. And yeah, I keep catching myself saying things such as, but do I really want to fight God? No, I don't want to fight God. It's just God. No, they number one, back to counting, the fucking aurora borealis. So listen, I live in South Texas, okay? Not the most southern part, but a southern part of Texas. And, you know, everybody in the hill country is like, oh, I saw the Aurora Borealis and I saw a fucking comet. It's gonna, I saw this, I saw that. Bitch, I spend 4 hours a night basically outside. No, I'm lying. Off and on throughout the entire night until about 5 o'clock in the morning. I am outside. I have seen nothing except, you know, the Pleiades, Orion, shifting and shaping across the sky, and every once in a while a shooting star. I see a couple shooting stars a night, you know what I mean? There's all excited and whatnot, but I didn't see a comet. I was outside for a very long time. I saw no comet. I saw no Aurora Borealis. And so I get so jealous. Let's be honest about it. I get jealous. There's a jealousy that arises within me. I want to experience the thing. You guys are all excited and happy about it. That is something I always wanted to see, the Aurora Borealis. I've done like I watched documentaries on YouTube of people who like live, they follow it and chase it, and they photographer, they document the Aurora Borealis. I'm sorry, I got too excited and then I lost my speech. They document the Aurora Borealis, and it's so fascinating and beautiful, and what a life, what a job, how fantastic is that? I would love to do something like that, to just follow something so magical to me. The Aurora Borealis is so, like, I don't know, it's, oh God, I want to see it so badly, and so I, like, get excited. People are posting pictures of the sky being vivid and pink, and then, of course, there's, like, the, sorry, I'm never gonna get to my makeup because I'm too hyped up about this. I'm mad because my clothes don't fit right now, and I'm frustrated because my face is itchy, and I'm mad because I haven't seen the room. I'm being a brat. I'm in my brat era. I'm in the brat era of my uterine cycles. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Let's back this up, shall we? So, hi, how are you guys doing today? I'm fine. So, I am jealous. I am jealous of people who have seen the Aurora Borealis. I want to see it so badly. My husband is Italian. He has people in New York, in like Niagara Falls and stuff like that. My neighbor called. I have a chicken in her backyard. I'll be back. You guys ever play the game Fable? Chicken chaser. Chicken chaser. I just fucking got that badge. I just chased a fucking chicken. At dusk. I couldn't see anything, so I had to hear it. Everything was gray. And so I had to, and my chicken is gray. The chicken that was across the way is gray. And so I had to chase a gray chicken, a gray hen, through the gray of dusk. And that was not an easy task. And then while I was listening to her, and I caught her, and of course it scares her because I had to catch her. She's more feral. Some of my chickens, I like them to be feral. I have my favorites, and I have connected to these chickens. And I love them. And there's a bond we have because I've raised them from very, very tiny. I let them sleep on my neck. There's been like a exchange of eye locking and feeding, and so we have created a bond. There are chickens that trust me in my flock, and there are chickens who purposefully do not. And I do that on purpose. I make sure that some of my animals do not trust me. It's good to have some... I don't understand. It's good to have some things still be a little wild. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I do have my favorites. I have Brigitte, and Brigitte is one of my favorites. And then I have Walter and Jessie. Walter is a white leghorn. And Jessie is, I don't know what she is. She's mean as hell, though. Jessie is a big bitch. That's why her name is Jessie, and that's why Walter's name is Walter. There's Walter White, and then there's Jessie. Anyways, But yeah, so I I just went chasing my chickens. Yeah, there is an importance in the wilding of certain animals. Like, I have to, how do you say? I might get into an area that you might not like. So if you are like a vegetarian or vegan or something of that nature, you might want to just shut this off. This is a final warning. You might want to just shut the video off right now. So there is, I homestead. Okay, so I raise birds not only for egg production, but for also meat production sometimes. I have my favorites, and in my favorites, in my flock of egg producers, I have one rooster, an unnamed dog horse, and he is unnamed. But he's a dark Selkie, and he is the one rooster. And then there's my flock, and I like it that way. I like my flock to have balance. I don't know why. The way I keep my animals is the way I keep them. So with the egg producers, they are a certain way, and then I'll have my meat birds. Now with my meat birds, so this past year we raised ducks for meat, and it was the first time we harvested them. And so there's an importance in homesteading, and of course this is where we will leave each other at the crossroads, unfortunately, and that's fine. You go on your way and I shall go on mine. You do not have to follow me. I do not wish you to either, so there's that. So with me and my homesteading adventures, sorry, I was chasing chickens. So there is I like certain birds wild. I like certain birds tamed. That's just how I am. I think it's important for there to be a wildness within every creature because it keeps their instincts intact, which is important. I don't think domestication is vital for homesteading. You don't have to have things that are domesticated. You can still care for things that are wild. That's just my personal view as of right now. Okay, so like as always, like don't take what I say and run with it. Okay, you can if you want, but look tripping. No, but so with my meat birds that we raised this past year, they were the white ducks. Okay, so the meat birds we raised, they were the white kind. I don't know, but we got enough. We raised them from little to harvest, and it taught me a lot about myself. First of all, raising animals to eat. Accountability for our cycles is important to me personally. To you, I don't know. I don't honestly give a fuck. It's none of my business what you do. I am sharing what I do. So, and do you have to listen to me? No, you can shut this video off at any time. I'm not saying you're obligated to listen to me at all. And in fact, it'd be better if you didn't. But personally, my experience with raising meat birds, or birds for meat, it was difficult because I knew the end. I got ducks on purpose because my husband does not like the way ducks smell. They are messy, they are nasty, they are stinky. And in the hot summers of South Texas, it makes a stink. Unlike any stink you ever stunk, okay? So there's a smelly smell, it smells smelly. So the biggest thing for me was to gain control of my production, my cycles, and to understand my cycles more. So every year I have a garden, and every year I would like to harvest some animal that I have personally raised in order to. For me personally, accountability is important with my food. So if we could raise it, if we can grow it, then I would like to do so. And if I could have my own cycles that I am in charge of, I feel like there is less pressure on my psyche to be attached to the corporate entities that supply the supply chain. Okay, now am I some kind of psychotic prepper? No, in fact, I'm horrible with prepping. I like things to be spontaneous and as they are, and unfold as they do. So I'm very bad with prepping. But do I think it's important to understand food production, growing, gardening, homesteading? Absolutely. I think everybody needs to know this. And in fact, I have some very, very different views, but I think that every apartment complex should have a garden, a communal garden that has chickens and things that people can come take from when they need it, not to hoard it, because I don't think hoarding is necessary. If there is a you know, understanding, you know, but there's that radical thinking in our society, of Western society, of course, to be like, I think that every apartment complex should have not only like places for you to play, but gardens for you to go and work in if you want to, or harvest from if you need to. Do you know what I'm saying? I had friends and they were really big into guerrilla gardening, which was they would go and like find fucking lots in the middle of the city, and they would guerrilla as in like guerrilla warfare. They call it like guerrilla gardening. So they would find plots of land within the city and quickly tend to it while the government wasn't looking, and harvest crops from it and whatnot, and grow things on it until they got in trouble. I've had friends that did that, and I thought it was interesting. I thought that was very interesting, and I appreciated knowing somebody who thought like that. So, yeah, but yeah. Anyways, I think that there's also a tendency for people with radical ideas to, such as that. Is that really a radical idea? Is that really? I don't know. Okay, just kidding. No, radical as in like strange, Uranian external thoughts that are not a part of the global right now. You know what I'm saying? So I like guerrilla gardening. I like that idea. I think it's fantastic, and I think it's fun. It's fun, right? It's interesting. It's unique. It's fun, right? It's something you could play with. It's good play, right? So, like for me with homesteading, it was just so important for me to understand start to finish the life cycles of ducks. And also, here's the thing, when it comes to growing your own food from the ground, the crops, they need to eat certain things. The earth demands blood, bone. It demands a type of death to happen for you to have fantastic crops that'll grow big and fantastic and beautiful. You can always, sorry, I'm getting too excited, so I can't do my makeup. You can get the synthetic chemical fertilizers, but nothing will beat. So nothing will ever beat good old-fashioned death. Nothing will ever beat that. Nothing will ever beat good old-fashioned, like a fish emulsion, which is essentially like, I go fishing. I'm a fisherman, right? I live, around the Gulf of Mexico, and so we fish. And I know how the life cycles of fish, and so whenever I'm making a catfish, there's the leftover bits and bobs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be nice to you guys. If you've stayed around this long, it's about to get kind of nitty and gritty. I already put a trigger warning on my channel. If you're here, then you should have read the banner. So, vegans and vegetarians and people of that nature, you guys want to leave, you could catch me on another video. It's fine. We can have different ideas. We can differ. That's fine. The world is big enough for both of us to exist. I respect you. You respect me. There can be mutual respect. So this is the last warning. I already was courteous. I gave you one, and now I give you another. It's about to get a little more nitty gritty. So, out of here. Well, you can't. I'll see you guys later. Okay. Mwah. Goodbye. Okay. Everybody else who stayed. I fish. Okay. Catfish. They're nasty. Okay, you have to cut them a certain way to get the meat out of them, okay? And is it delicious? Oh, yeah. Southern catfish is divine. It is good. I love frying it up and with cornbread and okra. I grow okra really well. And okra is fantastic. It grows fantastic. If you don't know what okra is, you're fucking missing out. Some fried okra is so good if you get it, and it's perfectly seasoned with different Cajun seasonings and spices. The one true reason I refuse to leave the South to move to the East Coast or to the West Coast is because of Cajun food. I hear tell that there's no flavors on the East Coast, such as the ones that come from Louisiana. I cannot leave it. I can't leave it. We went to New Mexico. The flavors are not as good as they are here in Texas and Louisiana. So, oh god damn. Anyways, so when you're making a catfish, you have to get the meat. Okay, so what you do is you have a fish right here. You have to slit from its gills and the spine. There's a part of the spine you slit down to its where the poop comes out of, okay? But you have to cut it in a way that you do not puncture the guts. You cannot puncture the guts, and then you will go down the spine and you separate the bone from the flesh, right? And then you skin it, or this, you know, you don't have to take the skin off of the fish, right? And then you have a slab of meat, okay? But then you're left over with the excess, the things that people generally do not eat. Some people, some homesteaders I have found, will boil it into a type of puree and like have all the bones and things extracted, and so then they feed it to their animals, which is a good life cycle for the whole fish to be used. I think that if you are going to take the life of something and ingest it, personally, as a hunter, as a fisher, as somebody who homesteads, it is important that you honor the entire cycle of said thing. It is. It fucking is. Tell me it's not. Go ahead. I'm just kidding, nobody. Go ahead, tell me it's not important, and I'll tell you why it is. The moon is beautiful right now. I'm kidding. Hi, moon. So, anyways, it is important. So, sorry, I went from being a complete brat to telling you guys about homesteading and the extraction of meat from catfish. So, it smells bad. You hit the intestines of a catfish, they eat everything. Jigsaw voice. They eat everything off the bottom of the fucking ocean floor. You wanna play a game? Hit those catfish intestines. Your whole house is gonna smell like shit. No, seriously though, your whole entire house will smell like absolute fucking ripe, nasty shit, because catfish, they're sniffers and they love stinky bait. They love nasty doo-doo stuff. They eat anything off of the fucking floor of the rivers, oceans, things like that. They are nature's little garbage cleaners. But they are delicious. I love the way they taste. I also eat hardheads, which are there's gaff top, that is gaff top catfish, and then there's the hardheads. I believe those are the two ones. There's the big one with the sails. They look like the little Chinese fish. They have the long whiskers from like Dragon Ball Z or whatever. There was a fish I saw on an anime a very long time ago, and he was this big ancient kind of catfish, and they had the long whiskers or whatever. But there's the, I believe, gaff sail or gaff top catfish, and then there's the hardheads. Now hardheads are what people, they consider them trash fish. I eat them. I eat anything that come out of the Gulf. I have prepared and eaten shark. I've prepared and eaten stingray. I've prepared and eaten hardhead. Okay, it comes out them waters. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna eat it. And if I catch an eel, I'm gonna eat that too. Okay, as long as it's within the legal limits of the game warden's specifications. No, I follow the law. Totally. Anyways, it is important for you to understand your local law and understand why the things are in place, okay? Oh, that's all I'm going to say about that. So anyways, but yeah, shark is fantastic. It is good. Redfish. Anyways, fish is great. Love fish. Love it so much. In fact, much like a cat. Fucking love fish, okay? Put me in a back alley with a dumpster. You know, the old school, the cartoons of the cats are getting the fish bones out of it. I'm kidding. No, but it is important for you to then, after you extract the meat and you do your catfish fry, whatever, don't throw away the bones, the skin, the intestines, the carcass of the fish. You can boil it up, mix it up, and destroy it to an extent. I think it's called emulsify. You know, you just basically you take the carcass and you can pulverize it into a type of soup, and then let it sit and let it whatever. Mix it with water. You have to temper the fish guts and goop into soup, and then you can deposit it back into a compost pile or back into your garden. Now what's going to happen is it feeds the soil all of these nutrients from the bones and the skin and the intestines and the blood and every part of that. The decomposition process feeds the soil, and it feeds worms, and it feeds everything that is in there. The decomposition process is so important for the sustainability of the Earth's crust, honestly. We're gonna get into it. It really is. And so, you know, the topsoil, it needs death to an extent to provide life. It does, and I'm sorry if you didn't know that, but if you are a vegan or a vegetarian and you made it past all of those nasty things I said, I'm sorry. I really am. those were not meant for your virgin ears, kind of thing. Sorry. But if you're eating vegetables, the earth is carnivorous and it eats you and it eats all of us, and it eats the deer on the side of the road, and it eats the vultures, and it eats the sharks, and it eats the goblin sharks, and it eats all the things in the deep dark and all the things that are above the surface. Everything is a giant decomposition thing. You know, in alchemy, it's the two dragons, the flightless and the one without wings, and they're just constantly eating each other, right? That's us, Ouroboros. You know, that we live, we eat things that grew because things had died. Sorry. So, yes, of course you can use synthetic fertilizers, but unfortunately there is a consequence to synthetic. Nothing beats good old-fashioned dead bodies. um, So, back to me raising birds for meat. Was it sad? Oh, yeah. But isn't accountability a strange pendulum swing? So, here's the thing. I have a deep respect for people who homestead, and I have a deep, deep respect for life cycles of humans and animals on planet Earth, and all things here, honestly. I do have a deep respect for the life cycles, especially death. So it was important for me as someone who homesteads to understand the accountability. Where are these animals coming from? Well, if you look into, I used to be a vegan, and a vegetarian. I used to like watch those PETA videos where they're just like destroying and slaughtering animals like in the worst way possible. And I will tell you one thing, the meat tastes different if it is scared, if it is confined. There's nothing like a free range bird. There's nothing like a free range pig. There's nothing like a free range cow. And if you can you can harvest your animal in a way that it is not stressed out and that it has lived its full life cycle, and you have given it every single thing it could ever want or need and protected it, then it can go back into you, and then you can go further, okay? And whenever you become accountable for your own cycles, for the things that you harvest, when you become a harvester of things, you understand the weight of consequence and the weight of your actions. You understand where the eggs come from. If you have your own chickens, you know what you're feeding them. There is a conscious and consistent understanding of where your food comes from and what you are eating, as well as you have to provide for yourself these things. You cannot just turn a blind eye and allow some corporate entity to slaughter millions of chickens a second or something like that. You know what I mean? And so whenever you do that, is it important? Of course it is. Is it sad? Fuck yeah, dude. Very graphic, trigger warning. I'm going to go into the harvesting part of the ducks, okay? It was extraordinarily graphic. There is something called a kill cone, and it's a cone that you put on the side of your barn or on the side of a piece of wood, and essentially you have to hang the bird upside down, and it has to be head down, because if all the blood goes to its head, and if you could calmly grab it and calmly slide it into there in a very nurturing way, okay, it does not have to be violent or graphic or horrible. What I did personally was it came down to the harvest day, right? It came down to harvest day, and we had to get an extra large kill cone and then a regular kill cone, which the cones are a metallic type of, it looks like a funnel that you put the bird into, head down, you pull it out. So then, I already gave you a trigger warning, okay? You have to dispatch the animal, is what they call it. You have to dispatch the animal, and it is not beautiful. Death is not beautiful for the things that you have to harvest. Now, can you make it quick and painless? Yes. A sharp blade is a humane blade. A sharp blade is a humane blade. Do you understand? It is. So, whenever you are harvesting your birds on harvest day, I already gave y'all too many trigger warnings. I'll give you another one. It's about to get really rough. So for me, I was like, oh my God, I'm so aggravated. And then I'm like, let me talk about harvesting animals. So, well, it's important. It was important to me. It still is important to me. And it's important for me to be honest and share my truth, my life. Is it not? So, a homestead. And a part of that is accountability for my own food that I harvest. So we put the bird in the cone, okay? And of course it's scared. It's kind of screaming. But the humane thing to do is to hang them upside down. All the blood goes to their head and it makes them go to sleep. They go to sleep. They pass out. Then you can dispatch them correctly. As long as you have a sharp blade, it'll be humane. And there is a way that you need to do it. There is a special way. You must go search that up yourself. I'm not going to explain it to you. Now, it is very, it's not pretty. It is not poetic. It is a strange end and then another strange beginning. So it is the end of the life and the beginning of the cleansing process. So the end of the life was very difficult for me, but my thing is that after I dispatched them, then I had to hold them there, because if you did not hold them after you dispatched them, sometimes they flail. Okay, sometimes they do. And so you have to mindfully take the life from these birds. Okay? And within that, it was extraordinarily difficult because I had to consciously hold this bird until the complete life had gone from its body, in order to minimize mess, to control the you have to put a bucket underneath them in order to catch what comes out after you dispatch them. And sometimes it comes out the top, sometimes it comes out the bottom. Okay, make sure you're wearing something you do not give a fuck about. Okay, it gets messy. The end of life and the beginning of the harvest is extraordinarily messy. So then you have to go and do a bunch of other things, such as you have to dunk them in water to take the feathers off, remove the feathers and everything else. So at the end of the harvest of the bird, you have, first of all, the meat that has been separated, and then you have other things that you have to now put into a compost pile, and then do what? Well, you have to allow the decomposition to happen in a way that is beneficial for your entire permaculture cycle of what you're doing. So what I was doing is I had my own garden and I was raising, foods like the cucumbers, radishes, turnips, corn, carrots, la 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 la. I had a garden, right? But the garden demands sacrifice. It does. It does. And so, like I said, you could always do synthetic. You can. You don't have to go out and raise meat birds. I'm not saying that you have to at all. And if you've got this far and you hate me, that's fine. I really don't give a fuck what you think about me. It's totally fine. If you want to unsubscribe, that is none of my business. It's between you and yourself. There's no reason for you to be here. There's no reason for me to be here, and yet I am. So I'm just sharing my experience. So yeah, of course it's graphic, and of course it's kind of hard to do. It's kind of hard to be accountable for your own food. And afterwards, you have now gained an experience that separates you from others. There's a separation between me and you now. There's a separation between me and people who have not done that before. So I have I've been initiated into a certain type of knowledge, which is, understanding how to harvest birds for meat, okay, and fish and things like that. The accepting of the lesson, being guided to become a homesteading person or whatever, and to learn the whole sorry being initiated into the ways of homesteading and understanding the cycles of life and death and in between are extraordinarily important for me personally as a human, to be accountable for my consumption, and also to understand what it would take for these corporate entities to massively produce all these things. I don't know where that fucking food comes from. I don't know how those chickens were raised. I don't know how those ducks are raised. I know mine were raised, and they were taken care of. They had everything they could ever want, everything that they could ever need, period. I knew that I was taking care of them. And I knew that then I would have to not only take care of them, but at the end of their life, I would have to take their life, lead them into the underworld, and then later on use their matter to create a garden. Does that make sense? I don't know. It is interesting, and it is definitely something that is not for everyone. I was speaking to my friend, and she said that she took a class. You could take classes. You could find different farms and things around your area to learn from somebody else. But what we like to do in our family is we kind of just do. We just do it. We have an idea, and then we act that idea. And then so we do tons of research within our family. And then after the research, and after I feel comfortable enough with, okay, I have an idea of how this is supposed to go. I have general guidelines, and so then I can act within those general guidelines. So let's just begin. And then on that beginning of the journey, we will learn things along the way. Talk to people, communicate with people, share ideas. Do not allow your personal bias to deviate you from the truth or to move you away from gathering the information you need. Now, of course, it's difficult when you look like this and you go and ask a farmer who looks like this, stock photo. It's difficult when you look like this and you go up to a 60-year-old man and you're like, hey, what kind of feed do you use? Or like, what is the you ask people for information and they kind of are like, there's a type of rejection that happens or whatever. So you have to like go online and make friends with people from all kinds of different backgrounds and figure out what they think, what they've done, their failures, their success, and then you learn mostly from their failure. And of course you can celebrate within their success, but you're going to learn a lot of failure. Failure is your motherfucking best friend on a homestead. And bitch, you're gonna have a lot of it. A lot of things are gonna die and you're gonna feel like dog shit. So I would not suggest anybody homestead if you have a weak constitution, or if you are weak-minded, or if you just, you're more of a dreamer, you're more of a la-da-da-da-da. That's fine. It's fine if you're airy-fairy. There is a place for you in this world and you are important. And there are things that you do not need to do. Okay? We all have our own paths. We all have our own journeys to make. I will see you on the other side. You know what I'm saying? I will see you on the other side of that river. You figure out how to get there and I'll figure out how to get there. And then maybe we see each other, maybe we won't. Either way, I have to go my own way and you must go yours. And that's fine. Embracing your destiny and embracing what you feel is right is important. But like I said, if you allow your personal biases to get in the way of you gathering information for your life to be better, it's difficult. And also, if you're sharing information and it is horrifically riddled with your own fucking political or like religious values, it's very difficult to correctly share factual information. So like I said, the best thing I like to do is understand that there's going to be failure on the homestead. You will fail. And from those failures, if you just have a resiliency in your heart, your soul, and in your mind, which you do, all humans have a resiliency within our mind, is it the neuroelasticity or whatever? Whatever. So you will find your way through the dense fog and the thick forest. You will, if you just keep going. The only way through it is through it. It's a full moon and the dogs are howling in the backyard. But yeah, so for me, it was important to understand the life cycles and also for crops to understand their life cycles. So I had two things going on at the same time. Last year I had a garden and it was great. I had so many fucking cucumbers. It was insane. I had like 25 jars of pickles. I was like, holy shit. And okra out the wazoo, up the wazoo, out the wazoo, wazoo. Okay. So much fucking okra. It was insane. I was making okra all the time. I was making gumbo all the time. The one thing I haven't done this year is made gumbo. I haven't done it yet. I think I might sometime soon. I don't know. But you're going to get depressed. You're going to neglect your garden. You will learn from that. You'll learn from that. If you just allow, okay, well, I am depressed. Well, allow it to be. And then when you come out of the depression, you'll have a whole Honestly, yeah. Sorry, I had to go downstairs. I thought that there was dogs in the backyard. There was no dogs in the backyard. I have no fucking clue what I was saying. I remember what I was gonna say. Number one, you don't have to be a dick about sharing information. You could just fucking share it. Here I am sharing information. You don't have to be a fucking dick. God, no. But so here's the thing. It's important to be honest. It's important to be open, and it's important to not allow shame to keep you in a space where you cannot do these things, because then you'll be in that deep dark depression. But let's say you are in the depression, you neglect your garden, you just throw feed out to your chickens sometimes, and you make sure they have water, but you don't go and fucking hang out with them all day long because you're fucking depressed and you're holed up in your house and you're under your deep dark covers, whatever. When you come out of that depression, of course, you might have some eggs that need to be thrown out and whatnot, but you can put them in the compost pile. Everything can be recycled, okay? Recycled. Put back into the cycle for reuse at a later date, okay? So let's say you left, because you were depressed, you left some eggs out in the barn too long and they're not fertilized because you don't have a rooster. So, fuck it, just take those eggs, throw them into the compost pile, allow the earth and all the little critters, the worms and the ants and everything to eat at them, do their life cycle, you know what I'm saying? And then put that compost out into your garden, grow some peppers, grow some watermelon, grow whatever you fucking want to grow, whatever will grow, Brussels sprouts, kidney beans, I don't give a fuck. Grow whatever you want, but it's important to allow yourself to do the things that you're kind of interested in. And of course there's fear. People, fear and being a dumbass is the price of anything. At first you're gonna suck, you're gonna fucking fail, and like on the Homestead there's tons of failures. It can be on a small thing, and it's kind of like a gamble. So you get birds, and you don't know about hawks or owls, and you don't have an electric fence. So guess what? Now you have predators. You have the unseen serpents within the trees of man's eye, right? And so then you cannot see the things until they happen. You cannot understand, oh, well, raccoons are fucking bastards to an extent. Whenever they are being fucking bastards, okay? They're kind of cute, but they could also be fucking bastards, okay? We could be at ops. Okay, they can be my fucking... in opposition to me, I have chickens. They are eaters of chickens. And sometimes they don't even eat the chicken. Sometimes they just kill them. They'll just kill them. They won't even eat the whole thing. They kill it and leave it. And so, lesson acquired, correct? Okay? Correct? Lesson acquired, you dumb bitch. No, I'm kidding. But then you have to understand, okay, there's predators and there's consequence to allowing predators to just roam free. So you have to fortify your castle around your little chickens and figure out ways. But the only way you're going to figure out these ways is if you begin on your way through your journey, right? So if you want a homestead, that's great. I think it's fantastic. Do research, watch tons of videos, research, and then like learn, and figure out how you feel, and then just go into it, figure out the laws in your area and if your neighbors are cool or not. And even then, that's also a lesson, right? So who fucking cares? It's all learning. Life is all about learning. So I mean, that's the only way I feel really alive, is if I'm learning something. And whenever I'm not learning something, I feel like shit. I feel like fuck, everything sucks. When I'm not devouring information, I feel like, what is the point of living? And then I see a meme and I'm like, oh, okay, that's right. Memes. Funny things. Excellent. Sorry. It does not matter. So, you're going to fail. You're going to fail at anything you do. You want to do pottery, bitch, you're going to fail. But does that mean you shouldn't even start? No. You're not going to be completely successful at everything you do. Just start doing stuff and figuring it out. Who gives a fuck? Oh my god, what if I'm not successful? Why do you want to be successful? Why do you want to be recognized? Why do you need that? you already are. So why do you need other people to agree with you being? You know, so like, do you have to be successful? No. You can have a homestead and you could fail and you could still be successful in a certain way. Success does not always equal cock of the walk. It does not always equal big high man. It does not always equal the brightest star in the sky. Sometimes success is that you did not fall into the same hole today as you did the past 59 days, okay? Sometimes that's success, and sometimes that's all that fucking matters, is that there's that slight deviation in your path that leads you to a fantastical journey, you know, and you had the cojones to go on that journey. That's great. Congratulations. How exciting, you know, to allow the Uranian energy into your life to shift your foundation and to allow you to explore different ways of growing, you know. I planted a fig tree and it survived many frosts. The first thing I did when I moved here is I planted an excessive amount of trees, because I like planting things and I like trees. So I planted a fuck ton of trees. Did all of them survive? No. My fig tree, which survived since I planted it, has died and it has gone back into the earth. Are there things you can do to prevent death? To an extent, but everything has its life cycle. Everything runs its course. Sometimes there are unseen things, unseen circumstances, such as like a type of fungus that creeps in and crawls through the soil, or the plant itself actually sends out a signal to certain things, like, okay, that meme, it sends out a signal, I shit you not. Plants, when they are stressed, they do send out signals underground using different mycelium, you know, and different things in the soil and above ground that signifies to things to come eat it, to come devour it, to go back into the soil. And it is like that meme, I need your help, I need you to kill me. That's what happens. The plants will send off that signal, and then bugs will start, you know, and then from the bugs, then the birds, and it devours a plant. It allows the plant to not die, but to go back into the ground, and then the next growth cycle, sometimes you'll find out that it'll come back. What the fuck, bitch? Last year you looked like a skeleton. You were nothing. You were gone. You were shit. What the fuck? You had bad fruit. You fucking, all the bugs ate you. I saw birds picking all the fucking shit off you. You were a stick. And now, a year later, all of a sudden it's vibrant, and you notice that it, not only did it, through the death of it, you know, through it sending out signals, please, please, I need to go back into the soil. I need to begin again. I need to begin again, you know, through those signals it was sending out. And then the incoming of everything listening to those signals and following those signals and destroying the tower, essentially, you'll realize that it came back stronger and with more vibrancy, or there was more of them, you know. There is a beautiful, strange and mysterious underworld-like factor that goes into understanding the cycles of crops, of trees, of plants, of your native soil, your native cycles, the moon, the lunar cycles, and also the sun cycles. And of course, where you live, your personal cycles is important, because even though you think it does not matter, you think that you are unique and you're individual and nothing can really fucking harm you or touch you, that is not true. The things around you do affect you. They do affect you. Your personal cycles, if you have a uterus, the lunar cycles affect you. The lunar cycles affect you to some extent, but also the sun cycles affect you as well. The way the weather will affect you, the seasons, the allergies, the wind, everything does affect your body. It really does. We are all interconnected, and you can't really untangle this knot. I'm sorry, we just kind of all are. So the best thing you can do is just honor yourself, know your craft, know what you're fucking doing. Do you have to know everything you're doing? No. Do you have to be good at everything you're doing? No. No. That's so stupid. Like, oh yeah, I have to be good at doing things. You really don't. You can just start and figure it out. You really can. And the only thing holding you back is yourself. And you're like, oh, what if I fail? You will. 100%. Sorry. I hate to be the baron of bad news, but you're gonna fucking fail, bitch. You're gonna fail, bitch. I have failed many times. Tons of times. Tons of failure. But you know what? They're all lessons. Just think of it that way. Like, okay, well, you feel, maybe you feel shameful about your failure. Maybe you're like, oh, well, I did something that was, you feel in your own thoughts, and you feel that you have done something so shameful that is irreparable and you cannot come back from it. That's the shame talking. It's not true. It's not true. The success comes from not being shameful of your failures. Even if you have humble, shitty, fucked off beginnings, you could still be a very successful tree that eventually turns into an entire grove. Okay, that shelters many things, all different types of flora and fauna. Okay, even the tiniest, the biggest oak comes from the itty bittiest acorn. La 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 la. Right? You don't have to be ashamed of your past. Write a book on it. Start speaking the truth slowly. Slowly start telling yourself the truth. Okay, it did happen. Well, what did that teach you? So a scary, unfortunate thing happened to you. Okay. Number one, we've all been there. We've all been there. You don't understand. Every human alive has been there. And if you're around people who tell you that they've never been there, run, because they're fucking liars. They're liars, and you don't need those kind of companions anyways. We have all failed. Everyone you have ever fucking met has failed. From the top dog to the smallest worm on fucking planet Earth. We have all failed. And plot twist, spoiler alert, we all end up feeding the earth in some way, shape, or form. Okay? So there is a part of your cycle within your tiny life and then within the larger life that you're in right now. Okay? And of course, one day we all come to the same end. But it's truly not an end. It's another shift into another cycle. It is another mystery. So death is not a failure, okay? Even people who have literally killed people are not fucking failures, because there can be some success in teaching others to not mirror or mimic their actions. So even though people have committed atrocious, disgusting, devastating crimes, there can still be some sort of lesson to be learned there. Now, am I trying to glorify murderers? No. But what I'm saying is that if they could forgive themselves, if they can really, really integrate themselves correctly while they are in their isolation and not allow themselves to just get kicked in the teeth and go all the way down and say nothing about it, they can help all of humankind by saying, I did fuck up. If they have the accountability, if they can accept what they have done and own up to it, and then do the time for the crime, and then also then speak upon that, there is a multitude of information gathering that can happen there. And it is important information. Are they sad stories? Of course they are. Are they fun, happy Mickey Mouse stories? No, bitch, no, they're not. But we are obsessed with that kind of shit. You love watching a train wreck. People love that shit. Do you know why? Because it's like, well, this is a giant fuck. Holy shit. This is holy shit, So how can you create something out of the holy shit? How can you learn a lesson from that? You know what I mean? What is there to be learned from that? You know what I'm saying? And so to me, it's like, yeah, you're going to fail. You're going to be alone. You're going to be afraid. You're going to fucking fail. But is that all you're going to do? No. 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 That's not it. That's not the... and of course you can have kind of a narrow view. You could look at that. You could just only look at that. You could be hyper obsessed with your little fucking magnifying glass and only look at your failures and just be like, I am the failure. Because that's your perspective at the time. There will come a time where you're done. Your obsession with looking at your failures has run its course, and you'll get to a point, an intersection where it's like, well, you can't go back. You gotta go forward. or left or right. You can't go back. And if you go back, you're going to have to begin again. You want to reenact that life cycle? No, just take what you can and leave the rest. Maybe somebody else will find some kind of value in your trash. They'll find the treasure within your trash. Okay? So, I know this has been a very long video on crazy things. It first started out with me being very aggravated about certain things and understanding things and sorting through stuff myself. I'm a human. I'm going to be sorting through things. I am not all-knowing. I'm a fucking idiot. That's how I learn a lot of my stuff. I am stupid. Okay? Can we be honest here? Not the brightest crayon in the box. But does that allow me some kind of freedom to learn vital lessons about life and humans? Yeah, being stupid lets me learn a lot of shit real fucking quick. So, be foolish. Be wrong. Be right. Be you, It's your thing. Do what you want to do. But just be. You know what I'm saying? There is vital importance in your being. And then one day we will not be. And that's okay, because then other things can grow from the ashes of our existence. But, what is your legacy? What are you going to leave behind? Start writing. Start speaking. Start telling. Find some kind of honor within the shame. Like, okay, well, honor your shame. Like, okay, well, I was a shitty friend one time. Congratulations. I'm pretty sure everybody on planet Earth has been a shitty friend at least once, okay? But what did you learn from being a shitty friend? Do you still want to be that shitty friend? Or do you want to change? Do you want to do something different? How would you do something different? How would you befriend yourself? How would you treat yourself, I don't know. It's just difficult because, trying to put words to experience does not always translate correctly for me. So a lot of the times I feel like I'm misunderstood, and fuck it, of course I'm going to be. Okay, somebody from Japan can try to translate my words and it's going to get lost, and they'll be like, what the fuck is she saying? Number one, I don't know. Number two, and now you don't know. Congratulations, we're both lost. Congratulations, smartass. We're both at the same train station waiting for that train that'll never show up. I guess we should start walking, Anyways, so, yeah, I think that you should not allow, I don't just think, I feel and I think that you should never allow shame to sit there and narrow your experience, because then you're like, is shame a great teacher sometimes? Sure. I think it's important to have some kind of shame, but also allowing it to keep you buried. Come on, don't do that shit. Like, okay, you're shameful. You feel afraid or ashamed. Okay, that's fine to feel that way. As soon as you accept it, okay, well, I'm ashamed and fearful. As soon as you accept that, then there is some magical process of opening that happens. And you're like, well, I accept that I feel ashamed and fearful. When you bloom, when you're open, things can come find you, Perhaps your tribe of people, the people who need to know you, and the people who need to hear your words, and the people who need to understand that, I don't know, it's whenever you do your individual work, when you take accountability for your life, not for my life, not for her life, not for his life, not for their life, for your life. When you take accountability for your life and you start understanding the things that have made you the way you are, and you start accepting them, like, okay, well, this is my life. This is what my life is. Here it is, Then if you want, you could be like, well, would you like to share with the class? Do you want to share with the class your story? We all have stories. They're all important. We all have voices. Maybe your story is important, Maybe something somewhere far in the future, 30 years from now, 60 years from now, will need to hear your story, because they will be on the same path and they will feel so isolated, just like you did. They will feel alone and scared and shameful, like They're alone within 8, 10, 15, 1 billion people. Who knows how the future will be? But it's important for you to tell your story now. You to develop a voice. Because until you develop your voice, I'm so sorry. Until you develop your voice, your story will never be shared. And then it'll just be other people saying things about you. You know, like, oh, she's this. Oh, Cody's this. Cody's that. Cody's me, bro. Have you ever seen Surf's Up with Shia LaBeouf? Surf's Up, Cody Maverick. Have you ever seen that? You have. It's a good movie. It's got James Woods and Shia LaBeouf. Have you ever seen James Woods as an otter? He's a narcissistic asshole otter. Yeah, have you seen Surf's Up? Surf's Up. Cody Maverick. Cody's this, Cody's that. Cody's me, bro. I love Surf's Up with Chicken Joe. Anyways, yeah, it's a good movie. But until you learn how to tell your story, everyone else will tell the story for you. Sometimes it's important for you to grab a hold of your dark horse and ride it. Okay? And be like, okay, this is my life. This is my destiny. This is what, you know. This is my shit. This is my shit, man. So, I'm gonna go. I need to shut the fuck up. I need to shut up and get the and I need to go. We are all intertwined. Your individual work actually does help the group. And then, like I said, you may think that you're doing something stupid right now, and you may be so fucking embarrassed to do it because you're like, oh, I don't want to be perceived that way. I don't know how to say this other than in the most vague and stupid fucking way. Take all of those thoughts and just fucking lay them there and lay them bare and let it be. You don't need to hold all those thoughts around you. What if people perceive me as this way? Whatever. Fuck it. People are gonna perceive you, and they're gonna make stories up about you in their head. It doesn't matter what people think. What I'm saying is, if you just honor yourself, and just kind of like sacrifice those thoughts of, what if people think I'm a certain way, blah, 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 blah. What if, if you just sacrifice those egotistical thoughts of trying to control perception and just allow art to be art, your work to be your work, then fucking let the shit fall where it lay, okay? Because it may be important for you to tell your story, you know? Like, it's important for, this is going to sound strange, but for sex workers, it's important for them to rise to the top, to alleviate their shame, to tell their stories, okay? Because when they tell their stories, then they can create a communion of other women leaving, other men and women and other human beings leaving, okay? So if you're in a dark place, and maybe you're not ready to tell your story, that's fine. Just keep going through it. You don't have to post up shop in hell. You could walk through hell. You could go through hell. You could crawl on your stomach through hell. I don't give a fuck how you go through it, as long as you fucking go through it. And after you get out, after you take a break, after you start restructuring yourself and figuring out, like, you know, go to therapy, get help, seek revenge. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. No. The best revenge is you being successful. How can you be successful? Well, release the shame. Allow the shit to fall where it is. Learn more about your own self and your own cycles. Dive and fall into yourself and be like, well, who am I? Where am I? What am I? What do I love? Develop a sniffer like a little bloodhound. What do I love? What do I value? Is this value true, or is that just what my parents told me? Do I need to tear down the temple and rebuild it? What do I value? Who the fuck am I? What the fuck am I? Am I the amalgamation of the people I love, or am I the amalgamation of devastating experiences? Do I still want to tell that story? If not, leave it. Drop it. It's gonna hurt, but leave it. Fuck it. Start again. Do something else. Fall into something new. Okay? So I want to apologize because I kind of got a little graphic with the harvesting animal stories. But yeah, sorry. And then also, You don't have to listen to me. And if you do, oops, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm embarrassed. I am embarrassed. Every time I go and I edit these videos, I sit with embarrassment and shame behind me, and I'm just like, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Because I am embarrassed. Being honest is kind of fucking embarrassing. It kind of is. So, and of course, there's a type of like shame that's like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You should be a good little girl and la la la. It's just society's expectations of how females should be or some bullshit. I'm excited because you could smell the change in the air. Is it scary? Yeah. Is everything scary? Yeah. I think within everything on planet Earth and in the solar system, there is a type of fear, but there's also a type of love. So you have to choose fear or love. What are you going to follow? Why are you existing? What are you going to do? Okay. Hope you guys have a great night. It's nighttime for me. I need to go. I need to go. I need to shut this shit off and stop talking. But I hope you're doing well. I hope this finds you well. And of course, fuck, I have to go edit this. Fuck. Okay, I'll see you later. Goodbye.